Welcome back. Let's drill it down to the top stocks you need to watch this Friday morning. Our team is with us. And let's start with Surbhi. There appears to be some relief in store for asset management companies. Surbhi, what were the key takeaways from the SEBI board meet on Wednesday, very late in the night?
Good morning, Rima. So that's right. Some key takeaways coming in from the SEBI board meet. The chairperson said the issue around the mutual fund TER, which is the total expense ratio, was discussed in depth, and the SEBI will publish a new consulting paper on the TER regulations. The new consultation paper will be drafted taking into consideration after all the data that was shared by the mutual fund industry players. Now, the old TER proposal will undergo a significant change, and the mutual fund industry will be pleased to see the new changes, the chairperson said. So, some positive news coming in for the AMC companies.
Okay, well, Surbhi, thanks very much for that, and we'll keep track of those companies. Stocks will be in focus. We, by the way, have the MD and CEO of Aditya Birla Sun Life Asset Management Company, Bala Subramaniam, joining us in just a bit with some perspective. Well, let's focus on BPCL now. Sonal is standing by with news here. Sonal, morning.
Good morning, Prashant. Well, BPCL has announced, or the board has approved a fundraise via rights issue to the tune of 18,000 crore rupees. The terms of right issue, the details, the pricing and the record date is something that they will be discussing later. But remember, they did indicate that the fundraise will be for energy transition, for their net zero goals and more investments in the new energy space as well. And do remember, in this budget itself, the government had spoken about how they will invest in all these oil marketing companies in order to ensure that they do this new energy transition as well. So it looks like the other OMCs will also be in focus on the back of this. However, Morgan Stanley says that BPCL's capital infusion via a rights issue could have been avoided, and this also highlights a shift in government focus away from divestment towards energy security. So not very impressed with this one, but it'll be interesting to see what happens to the entire OMC space on the back of this update.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that. So now, well, let's hop across to Nimesh here. Told us, a few days ago that watch out for a large trade on TD Power, and that's going to happen in the next, within the next 1 hour. Nimesh, tell us more.
Hi, Nigel. 25% of the company's equities on the block. We're seeing every day something new, and this is something new as well. All the three categories of promoters are looking to sell stakes. So the book was launched last evening. The floor price is 214, which means a 4% discount to the last trading price. But my understanding is the block will happen in the block window. The demand is strong. So despite a 25% stake sale from the promoters, I'll go with the green. That speaks for the sentiment in the market as well. I mean, it's raining blocks, and that's been the case for today as well. So I'm sure there are a couple of more blocks, but this will be a large block to watch out for. 800 crores will get raised by the existing promoters.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Promoters checking out 24% on the block, but there is a lot of appetite for that. Let me quickly talk about Tata Communications, because the company has made a large acquisition. They will be acquiring a US-based CPaaS company. CPaaS stands for Communication Platform as a Service. The name of the company is Kailera. The acquisition will be done for $100 million in cash, but the company will take on debt of nearly $150 million, which means the total enterprise value of the acquisition stands at $250 million. Now, this is a company, as I said, which provides CPaaS services, so helps in messaging, video, notification, email, voice services. They get more than 50% of their revenues from the United States. It will provide a revenue boost because the acquired company had revenues of more than $330 million last year. So it will help the company achieve its aspiration of doubling the data revenue in the next 3 years. But the only downside is that the acquired company's margins are on the lower side. So the margins are actually just at 5%. If you adjust for the ESOP, etc., costs, then the adjusted margins are close to about 5%, and this is much lower than the company's guidance of 23 to 25%. Good acquisition, reasonable valuation. It provides a fair amount of top line, but it will be margin dilutive. TREI also released the subscriber data for the month of April. The key takeaway is Bharti subscriber addition has been muted. Vodafone Idea subscriber base has declined by a massive 30 lakh on a month-on-month basis, while Jio has added about 30 lakh, making it the 14th consecutive month of subscriber addition for Reliance Jio. So keep your eye on these telecom names.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Rima. Well, Vivek joins us to tell us about HDFC Bank as well as CreditAccess Grameen that he is tracking. Morning, Vivek.
Well, good morning. Let's start with CreditAccess Grameen first. We are expecting quite a large block in this particular name as well. What we understand from our sources is that, the promoter entity CreditAccess India BV is looking to sell close to 5.8% stake in the company via a block deal. Now, the base price, for this particular block deal is at 1,230 rupees a share, significant discount to day first race close, and the block size is in excess of 1,100 crores. So it's a large block deal as far as CreditAccess is concerned. Remember, at the end of the March quarter, the promoter entity CreditAccess India held over 73.5% stake. Now, coming to HDFC Bank, remember, MSCI too had gone ahead and indicated how they would be treating the merged entity, that is HDFC plus HDFC Bank. Now, FTSE too, in a notification late last evening, has gone ahead and said how they would be treating the merged entity within the index. So what they will do is that they would be adding HDFC Bank in place of HDFC based on the merger terms that's already been announced. Now, this will be done on the effective date of the merger. So net, there will not be any deletion. However, what analysts feel, and IIF Alternative Research actually mentions that the subsequent review, that is the likely September review, may see an increased weightage of HDFC Bank within the FTSE indices, and HDFC Bank may end up seeing inflows of close to $900 million. That would come as a bit of a relief, as MSCI's weightage had actually indicated a slight outflow for the merged entity.
Okay, thanks very much for that, Vivek. Well, more stocks with news flow. Surabhi is here with that list. Surabhi, morning.
Morning. So I have a few stocks on my radar. The first one is MCX. Now they've decided to extend services with 63 Moon Technologies for another 6 months yet again. Now this is the second consecutive extension that has happened. Now for this extension, they will be paying 125 crores per quarter as opposed to 81 crores that they paid in Q4 and 66 crores that they paid in Q3. So significantly higher tech costs are anticipated in the next 2 quarters. So we'll see how that works out for MCX. For ICICI Securities, the board has approved the draft scheme of arrangement for delisting of their shares, where the shareholders of ICICI Securities will get 67 shares of ICICI Bank for every 100 shares held. Now, the scheme is subject to obviously the regulatory approvals, and post delisting, ICICI Securities will be a wholly owned subsidiary of the bank. At current market price, this is a 2% premium to ICICI shareholders. And lastly on my radar is AU Small Finance Bank. The board has approved a fundraising of 11,000 crores, of which 5,000 crores will be via equity and 6,000 crores will be via debt instruments.
All right, Surabhi, thanks a lot for that. Well, here's a quick recap of all the stocks we're tracking. Stocks with positive news flow include the asset management companies. We have Tata Communications, TD Power Systems, HDFC, ICICI Sec, AU Small Finance Bank, while stocks with negative news flow include the likes of BPCL, CreditAccess, Grameen, and MCX, while telecom stocks as well could be looked at with a neutral view.
Okay, well, we'll take a quick commercial break here. We have Gurmeet Chadda of Complete Circle Consultants joining us on the other side for a fundamental check. Later, we'll connect with A. Balasubramanian of Aditya Birla Sun Life Asset Management Company to talk about the potential relief on the total expense ratio proposals which were put out in the consultation paper by SEBI earlier, the SEBI chairperson hinting at that. Stay tuned.